everybody's got the right to gauge and judge based off of what they feel like matters to them. But then everybody has to be able to sit with the consequences of that if you if you're wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How important is chemistry at the beginning stages? And is it possible, if it's not there initially, is it possible that if you gave it a chance, it could develop over time?
So how important it is at the beginning stages, I think it depends on the, so let's use this example that you just mentioned with a guy. I think it depends on the woman. So I think this is my thought. Like, some women's choice to kind of quote unquote dismiss the possibility of a relationship with that person based on chemistry might not always be because they aren't willing to give them a chance. It could be because they've had enough experience where they can tell from the gate, it's not my type. You know what I'm saying? So I think that for some people, they are clear that vibe, energy, emotional, romantic connection is something that's like really, really important to them. And for some people, they want that to be something that's natural and organic, and they want it in the initial stages of the relationship. And I don't feel like that's wrong. I just feel like if that is a choice a person makes, you need to be willing to live with the consequences if you are wrong.
But now, is that so in today's time? Because I want to get an idea if you think that's an actual realistic expectation, because people are different. We're not as socially capable as we were because of all of the distractions. You got the video games, you got the social media. So you do have this group of people, whether it's men or women, that are shy. They may not have all of the social skills, but they still might be very good people. And it's already very difficult to find connection. I'm just thinking, how many people are we crossing out off the list simply because they're lame or corny or boring? You know what I mean?
I get you 1,000%.
Yeah.
And I agree that there are people who probably miss out on amazing people because of that. I think though that's their right. Does that make sense? Like, if I want the energy, I want the vibes, I want that initially, I want to feel this, that, and the other, that's their right to value that in a relationship. What I'm saying is, if you're going to value that, you just got to be willing to live with the consequences if you're wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you just got to be willing to live with the consequences if you're wrong. Because that's something. It's a show I did. This was like way back when I had my podcast. It was an episode we did years ago. I did with a friend of mine, and man, we literally talked about this whole segment, this population of guys that exist nowadays that I feel like they always exist. I'm not going to say nowadays.
Okay.
I feel like I was this guy. Like, let's say something as simple as this pre-social media days. So you couldn't reach out to a girl via social media. You got to be at a party or a game or something like that. You got to physically step.
You got to have that mouthpiece.
You got to physically step.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's in a public place. So if you reject it, other people are going to see it.
Public rejection.
If you with your friends are going to see it. If you're at a party, other people are going to see it. If you're in the mall, people in the mall are going to see it, etc. And one of the things that I was communicating is like, yo, there are some guys who are not socially awkward, who aren't necessarily shy, but who are not going to approach unless they feel like they're getting some sort of chemistry, some sort of something that's coming back from the woman that's letting them know that it's safe to approach. Listen, when you get better spiritually, everything get better. Spiritual life is not the only important part of your life. It is the most important part of your life because it affects every other part that's important. But you don't get stronger spiritually accidentally. It takes intentionality. You need to get fed, and you got to learn how to understand, how to interpret, how to apply, and how to explain the Bible. The Bible's the blueprint to your best life. And I'm going to tell you, Sunday's not enough to give you the tools that you need to get better with the Bible. I want you to join me in my community called Bible U, where I help you take your understanding, your application, and your explanation of the Bible to another level.
That's exactly who I am.
Yeah. And that's right. It's like, so just the random walk-ups and things of that particular
The
nature.
cold approach.
Yeah. And so I remember when I was, kind of doing that show and some of the feedback that we got, and people were like, oh no, that's not a man. That's weak. That's this. He need to have this, that, and the other. And I was like, what people are doing is they're conflating manhood with a personality type. It's like, no. He's a man. His personality, though, is probably, it's a personality, one, that's not just considerate of his feelings. He considerate of you.
Mm.
And honestly, that's probably kind of man you want to be with long term.
Calculated.
Interesting.
Measured, intuitive, aware,
Yes.
not just on some, just oblivious, just don't care. That's going to manifest itself in different ways down the line in a relationship. And some of those ways is probably not going to serve the relationship well. You won't like some of that.
Let me tell you, because we both got a boy who he don't give a care about what nobody think at any given time. And I'm talking about, he's one of our most, like, you talking about a good time.
Yeah.
He's a good time.
I'm trying to
But
think
just
about what
know
you're talking about.
the likelihood of us getting kicked out of a spot because the brother's unaware.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Increases
Because he's
drastically.
He's unaware. But the likelihood that he pisses people off around him,
Yes.
regularly.
that's just what comes with that kind of personality type.
Yeah.
Me, like you said, there's a level of presence in understanding what's going on. It's a level of, like you said, intellect, emotional intelligence to understand. And we're not even looking for much.
Yeah.
You ain't gotta,
Right.
you ain't gotta send a letter.
Yeah.
Right?
You don't have to wink. Yeah.
You ain't gotta do all of that.
Yeah.
But it is something we do pick up, and that is that calculated approach.
Yeah. 100%. And and I'm not saying it always turns out this way, but like even with the personality type you were just mentioning, it's like sometimes a person that's not like considerate and like person who just doesn't care, when you get in a relationship, they're not gonna care when it comes to you about certain things. It's like, God, I don't care enough. I'm buying this. You're gonna have to deal with it. We moving. You're gonna have to deal with it. So I think everybody's got the right to gauge and judge based off of what they feel like matters to them. But then everybody has to be able to sit with the consequences of that if you're wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you recommend now, though? Because when you talk about finding a soulmate, right? How does that look like? Because like now I want to kind of go into another area.
Because they Dr. J, they saying they not in the church. That's what they saying. The ladies is looking. They like, listen, I done seen this gentleman for a month straight, and he still ain't sat by me in the pew.
Facts.
So what's going on?
All right, what we supposed to do?
I don't know. I don't know, man. I can't tell people. So because for me, again, there are other answers, but for me, there's a God factor involved where he organizes or he orchestrates what some people call, it was just serendipitous. I was just in the grocery store and it just like, boom, it just happened. So I'm sure there are ways where people can, you can position yourself. I mean, sure, you're not going to find nobody at home. You know what I'm saying? So I think a person has to be strategic in terms of what kind of environments do you feel like have the kind of people there that you would be interested in, And so that could be
Change church.
It could be, it could not be. It could be an event. It could be Invest Fest. It could be Black Love.
Right.
It could be what did they just have here? Music Fest. It could be
One music fest.
Yeah, it could be a concert at Chastain Park. It could be a singles event at church. It could just, I think a person's got to be willing to simply put themselves in environments where God can make that holy hookup for them. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's just like anything else you want. It takes persistence. It takes patience.
Optimism.
Yeah. Like what else do you get without in it? What else do you get that's worth having without any of those things?
Yeah.
This podcast wouldn't exist if y'all weren't persistent, if you weren't optimistic, if you weren't willing to learn, to grow.
whispers of forever, a heartfelt choice. To love without limits, to give without shame. In your eyes, my heart finds its flame. We'll chase the sunset, we'll dance in the rain. Our love will shine brighter with every heartbeat's pain. We'll rise above the noise, our love will be the light. In the darkest of nights, we'll find our way to the light. Lost in the moment, our love will ignite.
To keep pushing forward. So I think, you know, a lot of times when I say stuff like that, people are like, "Yo, how long?" I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But what's your other option?